Kaibido. Hey, first I guess. Ross, kedu ka ị dị? Rachel, ezi nwanyị, kedu ka ị dị? Ke ka nnụ niile dị? Oh yeah, I think there's about 3 counting me people in here, and I just probably said their names. I'll wait for everybody else to hop in. I think I will begin once we hit 20, which might be ambitious. We are at 2. Kekanode. We're going to begin talking once we hit 20. Let's hang out until then. Yeah, let me move this here. Light looks weird. Okay, that's fine. Kekanode. Okay, today we're going to be talking about the word Akka. The word Akka, right? So there's a lot more to Akka than what is in what's the term for it? In Ofeke Igbo. There's more to Akka than Ofeke Igbo will allow you to believe. Akka, and for those who don't know, Akka is often translated as hand. So we're going to be talking about the word. He says, I'm back. He said, one day. All right, so we have 4 thumbs up and 4 people in here. So everybody's on their job. That's what's that's what's up. That's cool. That's cool. We are going to begin when we hit 20. Let's hit 20. If y'all got Twitter, post this link on Twitter. If you guys have Instagram, post a link on Instagram. Let's begin once we hit 20. In fact, let me go on Twitter now and say we are officially live. And I'm sure a lot of people are like, why the hell would I want to talk about Akka? But I don't. Well, there's a lot more to it than meets the eye. I'll post this on Twitter. I think most of the people that are engaged with the channel are on Instagram anyway. We are live, capitalize now. Join us. Okay, cool. Let me see if I can post this on Instagram. And I can't. Sure. Oh yeah. We got 8 people in here, 7 thumbs up. Somebody's not on their job. Everybody, when you're coming in, hit the thumbs up. We are going to wait till we hit 20 to officially begin the talk. This one's going to be a really good one, to me at least. And I hope the same for you, because this is one of the words that really opened my eyes as to how deep and how powerful the Igbo language is. Greetings, everyone. Ndewo, no, everybody in Ndewo. I know it bad. I know. I know God. One day I know God. All right, 11. We're waiting till we hit 20. I wish I could play music, but then they'll like give me strikes and stuff if it's not copyrighted. So we'll just listen to each other breathe, or just listen to me breathe. All right, we're at 12. Frozen. Am I frozen, y'all? If I'm frozen, let me know. I mean, if I was frozen, you wouldn't be able to tell me. So if you guys are seeing me move around fluidly, let me know that things are fine. I saw somebody said frozen. Dawn said frozen. I don't know what Dawn meant by frozen. I hope I'm not frozen. We are at 10. Once we hit 20, we will go ahead and kick it off. I think 20 is the usual number, or maybe I'm being ambitious this time. We'll see anyways. Okay, no more comments are happening. Am I frozen? Somebody let me know. Is my screen moving? Of course. Oh, this YouTube is something else, man. Am I frozen? Okay, it's good for me. Okay, y'all need to respond because I was about to close out. I thought I not frozen. Okay, you guys went quiet, so I was like, okay, there it goes again. I was about to close out just now. Okay, it's good on my end. I'll dim my. Okay, cool. Well, thank you for the false alarm, Dawn. Nah, just playing. Maybe you meant something else. All right, cool. I see you. Wonderful. Carol, keki day. Awesome. Princess Kaha, Keki Ide. Jada, Keduki Ide. Nuabolachi. Awesome. Okay, fine. I'm gonna knock the thing down a little bit. Once we get to 12, I'll go ahead and get it going. Ofoma. Yes, wonderful. You're not frozen. Okay, cool. Last week it froze on phone, but other devices good. Okay. Honestly, this is the smoothest set of lives I've done. YouTube is always acting funny. So once we hit, okay, we need one more person and we'll begin. Ndewo. Big hearts to you too. Awesome. Oh yeah, hey, we've hit 12. We have hit 12. I'm going to go ahead and begin. 13. Oh yeah, we're rolling. Umibem. Keduka Node. I'm going to begin by performing Iwaji. There's egusi soup. We'll talk about egusi soup later. We got important things to get to. All right. Umwibem. Oji abiala. Okike kere ụwa. Oji abiala. Ala nne mmadụ na nne mmụọ. Ala mụrụ anyị niile. Oji abiala. Mana achị onye ọbụla bụtara ọjị pụtara ndụ. Nke m ji n'aka bụ ndụ. Nnụma. Eji m ọjị ike na-ekele ndị eke, ndị orie, ndị afọ na ndị nkwọ, ndị mbụ na ndị egede. Nna nna m tiri m n'ụwa ka m gaa ije Chineke kere ka m gaa. Nna ejike, eji m ọjị na-ekele gị. Nna emenaha, eji m ọjị na-ekele gị. Nna ukwu ebu, eji m ọjị na-ekele gị. Nna ụfọdụrụ nwa, eji m ọjị na-ekele gị. Nna aka weze, eji m ọjị na-ekele gị. Na-ekele nnụ niile na-eke n'orie na afọ na nkwọ. Na-ekelekwe mmụọ dumere anyị niile n'aka Chineke nọ n'ụwa. Eji m ọjị ike na-ayọ nnụ, na-agwa nnụ na ọjị ike bụ ọjị otu obi. Mana ebe ọbụla ifuru ọjị, ị ga-afụ ndị mmadụ nwere otu obi, nwere otu anya, nwere otu uche, nwere otu ije. Nnọọ ka ọ ga-adị n'eke, nnọọ ka ọ ga-adị n'orie, nnọọ ka ọ ga-adị n'afọ, nnọọ ka ọ ga-adị na nkwọ. Ise. All right. Cool. All right. So now, as always, gave acknowledgements to everybody in the room, gave acknowledgements to the creator, gave acknowledgements to the earth, who is also the creator. And then I did something different this time that I typically don't do, right? I gave acknowledgements to my ancestors. One of my main reasons for doing that is because I wanted it for you guys to see how it's done. I typically don't do it in a room because I don't want to precedent my ancestors over everybody else's. So in that situation, you would go Eke, Uri, Afo, and Nkwo, and that would cover everybody's ancestors. Because as I've said many times, the day you were born, that Eke, Uri, Afo, and Nkwo are the 4 days or the 4 spirits. They are the 4 streams that you use to enter the world, and they are the 4 components that are used to build the world. So the day you were born is your market day, it is called, right? And that market day is the door you use to enter the world. And as the door you use to enter the world, it is also one of your names. So if you want to include all of the ancestors of everybody in a room and your own ancestors that you yourself don't particularly know their name, or, time has passed too much, or maybe circumstance, you just don't know who they are by name, you can call them by their cosmic names of Eke, Urie, Afo, and Nkwo, and you include everybody. So in doing that, I included all of the ancestors in that situation. I said that wherever you see the Oji, you see a people with one heart, one mind, one eye, one vision. Yeah, one vision is a better way to say it. One vision, and then one path that was created by Chineke, creator in the universe, or God, right? And so I said it's going to be like this on Eke, Ori, Afo, and Nkwo, and then you guys set it off with Ise. So that being said, let us go ahead and begin. So today we are discussing, I wanted to draw it this time, Akka. Akka. Hope you guys are seeing what I'm doing here. We are also discussing, again, Akka. Don't mind my handwriting. You're not going to be able to read it. So right there, right? These two things. These two things are saying the exact same word, right? But this one is also saying a whole list of other things, right? That one. This is Uli, and this is Nsibidi. Now, since I've made my Nsibidi video, I found out some very interesting things about that language, which I'll probably do a part 2 on Nsibidi. So if you guys want to see that, let me know. But I found some very interesting things about that language. But this is in Uli and Nsibidi, right? Uli is it's hard to call Uli a language because Uli is the ink you use to write, right? So, but we'll call it Uli. In the video, I called it public Nsibidi. The Nsibidi that's not owned by Ekbe, that kind of thing, or held by Ekbe, that type of thing. So oftentimes when you see a Dibia, especially in a Nollywood Dibia, because a lot of Dibias will be dressed just like me. But oftentimes when you see a Dibia in his or her element, or a Dibia who is dressed like the ancestors, you're going to see a Nzu on the hand and a pat on the chest. So you'll have a hand print on the hand. Sometimes you'll see a hand print on the face. Sometimes you'll see multiple hand prints on the body. You're going to see this particular symbol on a lot of people who are following masquerades, that are a part of a masquerade procession. In a lot of traditional situations, you're going to see that symbol again and again and again. This is how you write ancestor in Nsibidi and Uli, which, come to find out, it's the exact same language, right? So this is how you write ancestor in Nsibidi and Uli, right here. This is also how you write spirit in Nsibidi and Uli. Ancestor and spirit, right? It is a hand. The way you say hand in the Igbo language is Akka, Akka, right? Now, there is another language. If you're going to talk about Igbo cosmology, there's another language that we deal in, and this one is fundamental. In fact, it is said to be the first language of the first people, and it is the language of Afa. So those of you who are familiar with either Ifa, Efa, all these different, through the whole coast of West Africa, probably into Central Africa, but I need to look further into it. It's the exact same system, right? With different pronunciations on different words, and then so forth. I think there's a glare, but maybe you can't see the Akka there, right? Literally almost picked up a poem mastery guide at the bookstore earlier okay. Jada, when you pick that up, let me know, because both of my poems are different. I don't know if you guys can see this. My poems are different. I don't know what the hell that means. I had a dream before I started this channel where, anyways, maybe it feels kind of personal, but I'll go ahead anyways. But for some reason, I was lying on my couch and I felt like I was going to die. Like I felt like I was passing. And then I remembered, and then like for some reason, I looked at my poems and I noticed they were different, and I woke up. But here's the thing: I've always known they were different, and I always felt maybe there was a significance to it, but it's not something that was in my foremind. And for some reason, I decided to look at my poems. And I started feeling better, and I woke up, right? You know, in a dream where like you're in a certain mood, and then like as the mood changes, you start waking up more and more, especially if it's an elevated mood, like extreme fear or extreme happiness. So that also ended up happening. So I don't know what that means, Jada. Once you get that book, we need to talk. I was just thinking lines of Uli, yes, almost that kind of thing. Cool, awesome. So everyone's poems are different. Oh, I didn't know that. Ross, I didn't know that. I thought it was the same. Is alpha binary code? Yes. Afa is binary code. I'm going to explain that in a minute. I hate that feeling. LOL. Yes, I was curious. Did Nsibidi extend to Igbo and President Anambra area? Yeah. It's hard to say. Yes, Nsibidi extended to them, but it's because the people that wrote Nsibidi moved there as well. If that makes sense. It doesn't mean that, but the thing we're calling Nsibidi and the thing we're calling Uli are the same thing. So everybody was using this thing. But Nsibidi is more than just the writing. It is also sign language. It is also just this whole, it's an entire culture of secret communication, right? It's a gesture language, it's plays. The word Nsibidi means play, like a theater, a play, right? That type of thing. And so a lot of times when you see, if you saw writings, they were like instructions on how to behave and to communicate and that kind of thing. So Nsibidi is a very specific thing within the entire writing pantheon of the region. But any place where you see Uli, like I said, if you see a Dibia, if in your place, if you're from Anambra, you see that Dibias do this on their arm, then they use Nsibidi because that's the same thing. It means Akka, which means spirit. Okay, so the word Akka. So the Igbo language is particularly interesting because one of the things I was talking to one of the instructors for Kedu, and I was saying that it's interesting because it seems that in Igbo or in English, you try to create as many words as possible to describe as many things as possible. Whereas in Igbo, you try to utilize a single word in as many different ways as possible. Because in the ancestral worldview, we don't exist in a world of things. We live in a world of forces. So every single word is a force. Now, what do I mean by that? You can very literally, again, I'm going to force you guys to read my handwriting. You can very literally see the word here, Akka, right? If I take that A away, it becomes Ka, which is to something that is like greater than, to become greater than, right? Extend greater than Eka. Like if I say Onye Eka, Onye, that means that person is greater than that person, right? That person is extended beyond that person. Onye Kara Onye, Ke Kara Ke Diogologo. This one is taller than. All of a sudden, that thing Ka is a force, and that force makes something greater than another thing. It extends something. It makes something stretch. It makes something comparatively greater than another thing. That's what that force does. So I take that force and I put it in a bunch of different situations, and based on the context and inflection, it all of a sudden has all these different meanings and so forth, right? So I'm going to show you how this whole thing happens. And one of the best words to do it was the word Akka, right? So you see, if you take away the A, it becomes Ka. If you put the A here, it becomes this. This is how you say Akka in the Afa language when you're flipping Afa. The Afa language is based off of, like somebody said earlier, it's a binary code. It is a binary code. And with this binary code, when you, especially specifically Afa Ugili, when you flip the Ugili rope, right, you're either going to end up on a negative, right, a negative darkness, or which is Aku. The dark ones are Akon. If I get all dark, what I'm being told is Akon, right? And then if I flip it and it's all positive, I'm going to get Obi or Obi. You understand? All positive is Obi. All negative is Akon. You understand? When Chukwu was in the Odinachi Nebere story, there are many creation stories in Igbo cosmology, but that particular one encompasses so much that I always refer back to it. In the Odachi Nebere story, which a lot of you guys are familiar with, but it's the story where the universe begins as a singularity. And then from that singularity, the chi element separates itself from the whole. So there's now two things, chi and eke, obi and aku, obi and aku, light and darkness, right? Positive and negative, active, reactive. Now remember what I just said, active, reactive. Now check the rest of the story. The active element, the chi element, or I'm calling it the chi element, the obi element, builds a four-walled chamber called obi chukwu, obi chiukwu. You understand? And for those who don't speak Igbo, the word obi, again, it's a force, right? So it starts with obi. Take the O out, it's B, to live. Place of living, place of dwelling, place of staying, obi, ibi, that kind of thing, right? So obi chukwu, the obi of the big chi. Now, again, you use that single word to say house. You use that word to say the space of the man of the house, the space of the man of the house, right? The obi is the room of the man of the house. You understand? You use it to say the heart, the human heart, right? The human heart, and many other things. It just goes into all these different things. But again, it's a force. And when you see that force, when you see the human body, that force translates as the heart. If you see the family, it translates as that. It translates as that whole that room, the room of the owner of the house, the man of the house, right? So Obi, it builds a four-wall thing called Obi Chuku. Now, as this active element, the chi element is working, it is entering and exiting and entering and exiting, is working on something within that is secret. And in fact, gives the Eke element the instruction to never enter, to never look inside of what's going on. So the reactive element, the Eke element, becomes curious. And one day when the chi element, as it's walking in and out, one day when it walks all the way out, the Eke element goes, sneaks over, opens the door, sees what's within. Now, in different versions of the story, different things happen, but all of them end with that Eke element shattering. Either the chi element sees what happened, that she looked inside, gets angry and tears her apart. That's one version of the story, right? That I didn't want to lead with because, people be sensitive. Or the version where she opens it, there's an explosion which kills her, right? That type of thing. Both of them are valid. They're all saying the same thing, right? These are all cosmic motions and language used to describe cosmic motion and so forth, right? So that's Obi, the all dark, or I'm sorry, the all light and the all dark elements. That's the story when you're doing Ugili, those are the two main characters of this story. That is who we're talking about, right? When inside of Obi Chuku. Now, the reason I went back into the story is that within Obi Chuku, right? I was again telling you about that darkness. Within Obi Chuku, Chuku was building with what is known as Akun Odi. Akun, remember that word again, Akun, right? Akun Odi is a nest of like darkness beyond darkness. And when you have Odi, when you have that type of darkness encapsulated, it is what is used to create new things, right? At the same time, when Eke saw that darkness, when she opened the door and saw that darkness, it caused her to become Atu, right? The Atu who knows Atu, she saw herself. And in seeing herself, the thing he was working on in there became reality. We talked about this in one of our group studies, so I don't want to go way into that. It's like some other thing. If you're interested, join the Patreon, and the old videos from the group studies are still up there, so it's there. But it's really interesting how that thing goes. But anyways, back to the concept of Akka. So when you see Afa, everything's going to work with that darkness, right? The darkness, what I'm calling the Eke element, and the Chi element, the light element. And it's going to move in different patterns. And all of these different patterns are going to give you different words or they're going to describe different forces. This one that I have here is the force of Akka, right? So then what is Akka? Hold on, wait. In Menu Netter Egyptian, Ka or Ka means like a million or many. Oh boy. Oh boy, we're in for something. All right, perfect, right? So if Ka is a force that makes something greater than something, right? Then you will understand why the term Akka is used to describe spirit, right? Is used to describe spirit. I can never say this word right. We don't say it in my area, but one of the words for like a wandering spirit is Akogili. I can never, I know I'm not saying it correctly. I'll try to spell it. Akka, I think it's Ogeli. Akogeli. Yeah, I've never heard anybody say it before, so because we don't say it in my place. Akogeli, you understand? Akka is spirit. Now, what does that mean in the ancestral lens? Everybody is this. Our ancestors see the force of all things as this. There is a center or a core, and there is the radiance that comes from that core, right? The bigger self from that core. One of the things when I was talking to a DB, and one of the things that he shared with me that really blew my mind was the fact that we see the earth as the earth, right? We see the earth as the solid mineral earth, and we see the sky as maybe just something else. But in reality, there's the earth, and the sky is the earth that you can't see, right? The sky is the earth that you can't put into something. And that thing has a gravitational orbit. And that gravitational orbit, whatever is within that gravitational orbit, is already a part of the earth, or is already in earth. And that is the relationship of Mado and Mo, or Mado and Akka. Akaya, you understand? The sky, that sky element is your Mo. The example that I use often, because it's one that is used often, is the idea of the sun and the rays of the sun, right? So that the sun is the Mado in this situation, and its rays are the Mo. Another word for Akka is Abara. Another word for Abara is Amara, right? So oftentimes we ask somebody who's speaking Ofeke Igbo, and I'm saying this like they don't speak Igbo better than me. They do. So, but you'll ask people who speak Ofeke Igbo, say, oh, what does Amara mean? And they'll say, oh, it means beauty. It doesn't really mean beauty. One of the things with Gedu is I try to get it so that we don't do direct one-to-one translations. There's a whole different method we use as far as teaching, and it seems to be working pretty well. But Amara doesn't only mean beauty. Amara, Abara, and Mo, and Akka all mean the same thing. They are the radiance that comes from you. It is the light that comes from you. If I am the earth, it is my sky, right? It is my gravitational field, or it is the radiance or light that comes from me. It is the me that you cannot see, the greater extension of me, right? That type of thing. Aka, munongom, na akam, na mo, na baram, na all that stuff. You understand? You understand? Igbo, Taurus, donut, there you go. Awesome. Perfect. You understand? There's me, myself, and the greater me, the me that extends beyond me. You understand? That if you enter this room, you're going to feel, it's going to be around you. The way that if I step into the sun, I'll feel the sun. You know, if I stand next to an open fridge, I'll feel it. If I stand next to a closed fridge, I'll feel it. Even if you put this next to me, I'll feel, I just felt something right now. If anybody wants to try it, I mean, you probably already know, but just take something and put it next to your ear and tell me you don't feel something before that thing hits you. That is the Amara, the Akka, the Mo, the Abara, right? That type of thing. So, for example, with like the word like Amara, the reason it gets called beauty is because it is your essence radiating from you. So whatever it is that I'm supposed to feel from you, right? Let's say I feel you have goodness, like you're a good person, and I feel goodness from you. You understand? That is a part of your beauty. That is part of what makes you. That is I can see you, the visual beauty, cool. But then there's the spiritual beauty that I feel from you. You know, you get around somebody and you feel good. That's the same thing as you look at somebody and you feel good, right? Or maybe somebody has a nice voice and you hear it and it feels good. These are all different ways of taking in the essence of another person, but it goes beyond the five senses. Funny enough, the same DBO is telling me that now that we're in Ugazi, the only type of beauty we can see is the beauty of the eye and the stomach, right? So we only care about how things taste and how things look. Those are the only ones that we're able to see. And for that reason, when we look at ancestral art and contemporary art, he was using the example of art that if when people depict things now, they always try to depict it to look visually beautiful, right? So that when you see an African mask and it's like really ugly looking, you know, that kind of thing, you can't see the beauty of that thing because you're not feeling the rest of it. You're not feeling the rest of it. I'm hoping Amarachi is still here. Amarachi had this great story. Anyways, it's in the group chat, so I'll keep it between us. But she had a great story about a mask and feeling the essence of a mask and things like that, and so forth. But yeah, so these are all different ways of taking in another person's essence. And one of the essences you can take in is their more, the radiance that comes from them. Give me just a second. The radiance that comes from them, the them that you cannot see, right? And that is Akka. So that when you see this in Afa, it is referring to that radiance, to that spirit, right? Now, here's the kick about it. you have the sun. I'm glad I got notepads this time, by the way. Hold on. You have this, let's say this is the sun, and this is the solar system, right? So you got all these different planets doing this. All these different planets doing this, right? This is what we understand as the sun and the solar system. These planets exist in the Akka, the Mo, the Abara of the sun, right? In contemporary science, we'll call it the gravitational force, the gravitational pull, all that stuff. But the same way that I'm standing here and all these different parts of me are being held together by something, there's something saying that they should belong to each other, right? Is the same way something is saying that Earth, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn should all be held together with the sun. So that in reality, all of these things are not separate from the sun. Just the way my own Akka, my own arm, is not a separate thing from me. There's something universal that says this element belongs as one particular force, right? So that if this is Earth and this is Mars and this is Jupiter, it's all extensions of the exact same single body. It's all extensions of the exact same single body, even if you see physical space. Even if you see physical space. Within my body now, there are cells that are floating around, free form, floating around in physical, and there's physical space between them, but they're no less a part of me. You understand? So on a galactic level, or not galactic, solar, galaxy, yeah, galactic. On a galactic level, you would see the sun, and then you'd see our solar system. And, in contemporary thinking, you think it's one thing with a bunch of things floating around, but it's all a single expression of one single thing, right? The what we're calling the gravitational pull of the sun indicates that there is an unseen sun that is holding everything together. There's an unseen sun. Now, on a personal level, just like with the Earth, the sky is the unseen Earth, and I can throw a satellite in the sky and it'll float around because really it didn't leave the Earth. I didn't take it out of the Earth. I just put it in the place within that more where it orbits and reflects and things like that, right? So within an individual, or for an individual like myself, you understand, there is an Akka and I won't say abara because abara is used for it's more respect. So like the sun has abara, the earth has abara, but like a plant or an animal, unless it's like Oji, the Oji plant, like all these like sacred plants, you can say that they have abara, but the rest of them have more. You understand? So it's just abara is just like a bigger version of more. It's like bigger. You understand? So Igbo cosmology enumerate how many forces there are. No. And I kind of got away from trying to find out like a number, right? Because again, it's not the big number, it's the little number, right? So it's really chi and eke. It's chi and eke. And then that thing repeats and repeats and repeats and repeats and repeats infinitely. You understand? So every single thing that I'm talking about will follow that chi eke pattern. Like here, if I'm talking about the sun again, the sun is the chi of our solar system. Or I'm sorry, the eke of our solar system. The thing holding, that thing you can't see, that's making it all one, that's holding it all together, that is creating a cosmic memory, is the chi element of it. It is also the madon and mo element of it, right? So why did I just say that? Because it's not the big number, it's the small number. That pattern is going to repeat itself an infinite amount of times within this space itself. Like, for example, we'll use agon, you understand. Agon is in every single thing. So this thing has its own agon. Let me not disrespect my OG. This comb has its own agon. All these different things I have agon, you understand. Everything has its own ikenga. Everything is going to have its chi. Everything is going to have eke. All those different things. All those different things everything I describe, you're going to see it in everything. It's going to function in a different way, but it's a pattern that repeats again and again and again, right? So if I were to say how many agon are there, I would have to literally name every single thing that exists. You understand? So it's a pattern that repeats, and it's you can't count it. It's uncountable. But if you know that it's just chi eke again and again and again and again, you're good to go. You know, that kind of thing. It's like worrying about the manifestations versus the source. Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. So love it. The influence of the influential beauty of a person. Dawn, yes, thank you. That was a very good way to put it. The influential beauty of a person, right? So, anyways, back to that thing. So I'm talking about the galaxy and all that stuff, but I think in the last talk that we had or the last live that we have, you remember that I as an individual, you as an individual, you are an entire universe, right? There's me, right? There's me, the one that you can see, and then there's this one that you cannot see, this big thing that you cannot see that radiates from you. And it is as much you, it is as much you as what you think you is you. You understand? Now, I'm willing to wager, this is not written anywhere in the Igbo laws or anything like that, right? I'm willing to wager that the meaning or the purpose of life is to express that Amara, that Akka, that more, is for that thing to radiate outwards. That is the purpose of every single thing we do, is for that thing to radiate outwards, right? So that if you tell somebody that, okay, there's life after death, but nobody can hear you, nobody can see you, nobody can feel you, nobody can interact with you, nobody will remember you, you'll have no impact on anything, you can't touch anything, you won't, just nothing, it's just nothing, but yeah, you're there somehow, right? Suddenly that feels worse than death, you know, because I can't extend and touch and do that thing. My sun won't be able to extend and shine and so forth. If you look at an organism, the reason I took it back to life, every single organism starts as something small, and then it begins the process of growing and growing and growing and growing until the growing is unsustainable, and and the force that makes it grow goes beyond it. And then it then begins to shrivel and die. Every single living thing that follows that exact same pattern. It starts small and it begins, and then everything it does is to continue that process of growing and growing and growing. And it doesn't just mean growing in the physical sense, right? There's growing in let's call it the abstract, right? I want to become a greater person. I want to have an impact on people. I want to radiate as far as possible before I pass. I want to know that somebody feels my radiance. I want to know that somebody feels my Amara. I want to know that somebody feels my Akka so that it's real. So you spend this whole time extending this thing and trying to see if somebody else is feeling or seeing it, or if it's the world is seeing and feeling it, that type of thing. I don't know if you guys remember that show Reno 911, but there was a scene where one of the one of the cops had got a contract or something to like sing commercials, and he would it was just like he had one line. I'm not gonna try to sing it, but it was, and the installation is free, right? And so he's thinking he's gonna be this big ass star. And then when the commercial comes out, they replaced him with like a moonwalking cartoon turtle. And he got really depressed and stuff because he just became really arrogant knowing that he was about to be on this commercial singing. And so I remember this one scene where he took a bottle, he was so mad, and he threw it against the wall and it didn't break. And he was so frustrated at the fact that that bottle didn't break, and he literally it didn't break. Kept saying that over and over and over. And that's kind of what I'm talking about. A very goofy example, right? That's what I'm talking about, is to have some type of impact on things around us. I want to say something and know that somebody else is hearing it. I can't just go out into space and start talking. It has to touch something. It has to radiate on something, right? All those things are extension, speaking, expression, art, aspirations. It is the abstract version of what the biological does. Is that extending thing, right? And that is what we mean when we say you are as much madum as you are more. You understand? Because if you were just felt in more and you were just felt in madu, I promise you would prefer to be felt in more than in madu, if that makes sense. Would this vary per person or being? I would, yes, it varies for everybody. Not everybody's extension is the same, right? But if you wish to speak, let's say now, for most people, if I speak, I want to be heard, right? Which is why it's very difficult for people to go and speak to a river. Now, there's some people who are able to reach that level where they can do that. You understand? I'm not saying that this is how things should be. It's just what I've observed. It's what I've seen. You understand? So somebody can go speak to her because they're not, my radiance is not dependent on the response. But for the average person, the Ofeke, the regular person, you understand, there's the desire to have an impact or be felt somehow, to radiate, to know that you have that radiance, right? That type of thing. That is Akka. Even look at the way the poem does. They're like rays. You understand? Ross had brought up the findings at Igbo Ukwu, and one of the interesting ones was it's a sun, but the sun, it's two breasts with a ram head on top. Now, if you understand Igbo cosmology, you know that the sun is Anyanwu. Anyanwu is a woman, or is depicted as a woman, or is understood to be a woman. And I said that within Anyanwu, there's Ezeelu, Eze Anyanwu, which is Amadioha, which is that ram. And Amadioha lives in the forehead of Anyanwu. But if you look at it, there's the two breasts, a ram head, and then a bunch of like what look like crab pincers extending out. The Akka or the Abara or the Mo of the sun, which we call Abala, or it's called Abala in some places. Some people call Abara, that kind of thing. You understand? That extension, right? That extension, right? So the power of the sun is in its radiance. The power of a human being is in its radiance, in your radiance as a person. It can mean your physical radiance, your ability to use this thing, your extensions to do things and so forth, or it can mean your radiance on a spiritual level. And that is Akka. So when you hear the term Akka in the Igbo language, those of you who speak Igbo, you'll hear a term such as Akka Jiofo, right? Akka Jiofo. Now, in layman terms, it translates to the Akka, which has an Alfo. An Alfo is a staff of authority. So when an individual makes a pact, you are there. That pact creates an Alfo. And in holding that Alfo, that means that you are the upholder of that pact, because every time that pact is made, it is a truth. What I said originally with this story was when Eke saw Eke, it created a reality. It made reality starts, or the universe began once she saw herself inside of Obichukwu, when she saw her reflection, the darkness, you understand? So that began reality. The same thing with the awful. When truth is created by two things agreeing. For example, when you're in the process of reincarnation, you make a pact with creation itself, with Eke. You and your chi say, we're coming into the world to manifest this specific light, right? Maybe you're coming into the world to be a loving person. Maybe you're coming into the world to be charitable. Maybe you're coming into the world to watch Netflix. Maybe you're coming into the world to eat candy, whatever it is, right? I'm coming into the world to do that. Okay, you're coming into the world to eat candy. Okay, these are the rules by which you have to follow when you're up there. Okay, 1, when you're eating candy, make sure you chew before swallowing. 2, this. You'll get a set of rules. And then that agreement creates a pact, an all so that if you have that all you'll always have a cosmic authority over candy. I'm using the example of candy, but it could be different things, right? You have a cosmic authority over candy. So long as you are eating candy, nothing in the universe can affect you, can harm you, can destroy you, can break you. That is yours. You have the cosmic authority over that thing. You have the all of that thing. But when you violate those rules, when you break the rules of that all you are giving, the universe itself is going to collapse upon you, or is going to turn against you, or is going to punish you or get you out of there. That type of thing, right? So when we say akajiofo, that is a hand which holds an ofo, and it's typically a way to casually say somebody is honest, upright, trustworthy, righteous, enlightened, all types of things, universally aligned, all those things. You say that when you say akajiofo, all those things. Now, but think about what I said. Aka doesn't just mean the hand, right? The physical ofo itself, while important, is not the ofo. It is the physical representation of something that is floating within your cosmic sphere. So that whether or not you have the physical all the holding of the physical all in your hand is you representing the Akka, the spirit, which has an all. So consider that all like a planet that is floating around your sun, right? I'll use the example of King Arthur, Sword in the Stone, right? Yeah, I guess the story, I believe, goes that it was said that whoever is supposed to be the king of this land is going to be able to pull this sword out of this stone. It's not the sword and the stone that made the person the king. It's the fact that that person has that ofo floating in his Akka, floating in his cosmic gravitational sphere, floating in his mo, his amara, his mo amara, abara, just floating in there in his Akka. You understand? He had that thing, and when he touched that the sword, it is recognized. Yes, this is the person with the key, and it works. And nobody else can do that. Remember earlier, I said with the candy that no matter what, that all belongs to you. Period. The all belongs to you. Period. You understand? It doesn't matter. Nothing. So long as you made that pact with creation, that's what it is. Creation said you're going to be the one that does that. You're going to be the one that does it. Now, if you don't do it, nobody does it. It never gets done. If you don't pull the sword from the stone, it never gets done because that was your awful. You had that awful. You understand? So that is Akka. Many of us have all of us have our EUA. It's called EUA or Fondo. We have the ofo of our destiny that floats in our cosmic atmosphere, right? So this is us. And that thing that some people call it your destiny, your purpose, whatever. It is floating in there. That pact you made with creation is floating in your universe. Now, here's another one of the names for that pact. That pact is known as Akaraka. Akaraka. You understand? Like I said again with Igbo, you take one force, or let's call it a word, but you take one force and you can put it in all these different places. Just like what I said with Agon, all these different things have Agon, all these different things have Ikenga, all these different things have Akka, so on and so forth. So that your destiny, another word for destiny is your Akaraka, right? Now, Akaraka, again, it roughly, or like layman's, what was that thing? I'm trying to remember what term I was using. In Ofeke Igbo translates as the etchings on your hand. The etchings on your hand. That is your Akaraka, or the etchings on your hand, right? Now, if I take it into the Afa language, it is the Akaraka, the Akka that is extending it, the extended Akka, the full you. The full you, Akaraka. You understand? The full you. Another term for Akaraka is Eke, right? Where's that damn pen? I'm so glad I got a notepad. I'm gonna be drawing up and down from now on. But yeah, I don't know if y'all got questions. So Akka is spirit. Sarah, yes, Akka is spirit. Igbo destiny, and Igbo destiny is also Akaraka. You got it. Perfect. Freshly here from Asusu Igbo 1. I felt really bad scheduling at this time because you guys have class. If you wouldn't mind, like flyers, if you wouldn't mind sharing a name, I'm trying to figure out which Igbo 1 student I'm talking to. If it's a secret, then that's fine. Don't let me pressure you. I'm trying to find a damn pen because I like this idea of drawing these things out. All right, I'm not gonna draw it out because I can't find the pen. I'll draw it with my hand. In Uli and Nsibidi, right? Same language. The symbol for Akaraka is this: a spiral that extends, an extending spiral. That is how you draw Akaraka, right? Is a spiral. The way you draw Eke, spiral. So oftentimes I say Eke and I say your physical self, which doesn't do the term justice. Your Eke is that universe that is you. Everything is just the thing that when the door of creation opened, right? Whether you were born on Eke and you came through the Eke door, Uri, Afon, and Kwo, everything that came out of that door at once is your Eke. You understand? Everything that came out at once. Nobody has the same patterns on their hand, so it's unique. So the etching on your hand makes sense as a translation. Literally your unique pact. Hey, Isabel, G. Hey, why ma? You got it. The shimmer is closely connected with the spiral too, right? I like that. The spiral is more connected with Eke. Yeah, it wouldn't be Oshimiri, it would be Eke. Where's my pen? The symbol for Miri is like a bunch of triangles, like triangle, then triangle, then triangle, then triangle, like that, like waves. Like I don't, but it's a different symbol for Miri or Nemiri. But yeah, Jada, thank you for that. But yeah, Eke is the spiral, as is Akka, as is Mo, as is Akaraka. All those different things. What you'll often see is a spiral, is a poem or a spiral that spirals, and then it turns into a poem, right? Which is a very artistic way of saying the same thing, saying the general same thing. So Akka doesn't just mean your hand. Now, how does it then become the hand in the body? Because if this is the body, if I were the sun and I did this, now I'm a big shining sun. I don't know if you guys are history fans, but if you look at the Japanese flag, their Japanese flag is a white flag with a red dot in the middle. But when Japan goes to war, right, that red dot, which is the sun, now gets these big rays that shine out from it. And that is their war flag, the imperial flag. Can't remember the exact term for the flag, but I think there's a lot of controversy around it because once they started flying it, they went and killed a bunch of Chinese people. So they had to chill on that. But every now and then you'll still see it anyways. It's not like they're completely hidden it and stuff like that. That is the big Japan, right? I shouldn't be sharing this story, but I used to work in human services, and we had this patient. And let's say I'm just going to give him a fake name. I'll call him Boo Boo, right? And let's say his name was Boo Boo, right? And his name's close to that. That's why I chose that one. But he was very low function. I hate that term, but he was very low functioning, and so he could only say a few words. He would say juice, eat, boo boo, and then big boo boo, right? So when he would say big boo boo was when he was very happy with himself, when he did something or when he was proud. Like he achieved, so like maybe say, okay, boo boo, put your plate over here. And he puts his plate there and he's happy. He goes, big boo boo. Like I just did this. I extended, right? Even when somebody wins a race, they go, they extend themselves. All those things are not on accident, right? And when I was thinking about this live. I was talking, and I kept thinking about Boo. I was like, it's interesting that he would call himself Big Boo Boo when he'd do something good, right? And then regular Boo Boo when he was he was pissed off and started beating all our asses and things like that. The rising sun flag. Thank you very much for that. Yep, Japan is literally projecting their imperial aspirations with that flag. Absolutely, yes. The extended self, the big self, right? You understand your radiance. So your Akka is all of those things. And you can take any word in the Igbo language, and if you meditate on it, all of these things are getting unlocked, right? My number one tool in doing my research, I'm starting to use research in quotes. my number one tool in doing research is thinking about the word itself. The language itself is getting me a lot further than any documentation, than talking to people, yada, yada, yada. It's all right there. It's all right there. Akka. If I want to say branch, I would say Akka Oshishi. The extensions of the Oshishi, the Osisi in Central Igbo, of the tree. You understand? Akajiofo. I can say, yes, Akajiofo is a hand that holds an ofo, but in reality, it is a spirit with an ofo that is holding an ofo in its gravitational pull. That is holding an all-four in this gravitational pull. So why then does this become the symbol for spirit, more spirit, same thing, and then ancestor or Ndiche, right? That poem. Because in your orbit, your ancestors are there. They're orbiting around you. Your ancestors are there. The different spirits that followed you into creation are there, right? If let's say your chi brought you into the world and said, in your time in the world, you are going to save a child from a runaway bus, right? So you're coming in, your chi is going to give you a team that comes with you, right? So let's say your ancestors are going to come with you. The ancestor that gives you the power to do that thing is going to move to the front. Is going to be a guide. It's going to be a Muozi, right? Or Muozi, right? It's going to move to the front. It's going to be a muse. It's going to be a guide. It's going to be one of the ones that talks to you regularly because there's something about that ancestor that's connected to that thing you're going to do, right? One of that or whatever. You have the all fall of doing that thing, right? That one's going to move to the front. There are spirits that aren't even going to be your ancestors, that may not have relations to you, that are also going to come with you. They're your team. They're your team. They're moving together with you as a team. So the last time I came on live, I was talking about when you go to your altar, right? And you're saying those different names. The team is what you're addressing. Those are all the people you're saying, this one, I acknowledge you. This one, I acknowledge you. This one, I acknowledge you. You understand? Which we don't know them all. So we use Eke, Urie, Afo, and Nkwo to call the whole team. You understand? Now, what happens when you come in with the team and you're supposed to play this game and maybe you're the point guard, but you start screwing off, right? You don't, you maybe you're just really into seeing kids get hit by buses and you're not trying to do nothing about it, right? Even though you have the fault of doing that thing, you're supposed to do that thing. There's an ilu that says that when the chi of a blind man sends him into battle, he's already equipped him or he's already accounted for his blindness, right? Meaning that go to battle, you're gonna win. Don't worry, I got you. You understand? You have everything it takes is in your orbit to do that thing. So it's not a matter of, I can't go. That's what we're here for. But if you yourself, because all those things that are orbiting are coming into the world with the same pact, the same thought that you have. And in truth, it's that thought that's holding the whole thing together, right? All of those things have the same thought as you. So if we're all coming here to win the NBA finals or the NBA championship, and I think I was talking to a patron or I'd consider a friend the other day, and I said that let's say you come out and you come into the court and like you're at the finals and all you want to do is smoke cigarettes in the middle of the court. Your coach and your team are going to be the ones that make you go sit down first, so that whole Akka will then turn against you. Your own spirit will fight you we're coming here to be this. This is our truth, and you're running in this direction. Okay, sit your ass down. Sit your ass down. And you're going to start feeling things around you. You're going to start feeling the world kind of collapsing upon you and things like that. Or as if your own talents and ability or you as a person is now fighting against you. And you're going to give it 150 different names. But this is what our ancestors said it is. That we all came here for this specific truth. We are aware of it. You may not be, but we are very aware of what we're here for, right? Call our names, we'll talk to you and we'll tell you what it is and we'll guide you and we'll move you through because you're already equipped for that thing. So every single person comes into the world as a galaxy, a center, which is your chi, and every other thing that orbits around it, which is your Akka or your Eke or your Akaraka or your Ama or your Aba, all those things. You understand? So that's really the gist of it, guys. I want to see if I can read some questions. I have to go to sleep. I'll work in the AM, but I really love these lessons. Oh, Sarah, okay. Congratulations on the book. I hope you can make it to the group chat on Patreon. So yeah, but yeah, congratulations. I've been seeing you post about the book and things like that. I've been meaning to post that. Okay, Medu Netcher, Udu Medu Ndiche. Advice slash feelings of the ancestors. Awesome. Wow. Thank you very much for that. Thank you. Go check out Sarah Nwafo's book. Sarah, type the title of the book if you can. The title, author, and everything. Advertise, because my ancestors are all around me, absolutely with me. Even when I'm with a woman having no, why not? Her own ancestors are there too. You guys are going ancestor for ancestor. Is Ba in Bantu languages like Ba we're talking about? Wa. You'd have to explain what Ba means in Bantu languages. I'm going to guess it means people because in Igbo, Mba is people. Mba is people in Igbo. So I'm gonna guess that's what Ba means, but I don't know what it is. You just have You've just solved imposter syndrome with one Ilu. Okay. Okay, Isabel, thank you. If your chi has accounted for your blindness, you don't need to worry about hey, I think this is your second ology of the day. Thank you very much for that. If your chi has accounted for your blindness, you do not have to worry about being worthy. You just need to know if the task is aligned with your Akaraka. Yes. Go do the damn thing. Go do the if you're shooting at the wrong post, the coach will tell you to come sit down. It ain't that deep. You understand? Awesome. Thank you very much. Just go do it. If it is your truth, so long as you know yourself, right? Know yourself first and then go do it. You understand? Do you know why our ancestors had all these different names to talk about this one specific being of being? Oh, wow. Such a good question, Sarah. Okay. So there are nuances to the words, right? So, for example, if I say more, I've removed the mado element. But if I say Akka or Eke, I've said all of them. I've said both, right? I've said both, and I've said a little bit more. I've had all the different things floating around in it too, right? If I say more as opposed to Abara, Abara is that same radiance, that same spirit coming off of a force of nature, something that supersedes sentient life or mortal life, right? So the earth has an Abara. I don't necessarily say it has a more. I can if I want, but that's not enough. It's like a big radiance, right? It's a giant thing that comes off of it. It's huge. And whereas the one that comes from me is also big, but it's not, I can't compare it to the earth. You understand? That type of thing. The sun has an abara, you understand? A dog, more. A person, more. You understand? A non a person who passes away but is not an ancestor, more. You understand? An ancestor, oniche, niche. It's elevated, right? Amara is more so the like, it's the same radiance, but I'm now talking about Ama, so like to know, right? So it's like, you know, when people say, I see you, that's what it is. Amara, I see, like that kind of thing. The I feel you. Literally, I feel you. You understand? Yeah, I feel that when you say I feel you, what is it that you're feeling? Your amara, that your beauty, the light that your shine, the light that comes from you. I feel you. I I connect with you on a spiritual level. That's the best way. Because I always say, and I say often in my videos that more has a sinking nature. So that light that radiates from somebody, if somebody's light radiates cold and mine radiates hot, I'm gonna get a little bit hotter. They're gonna get a little bit colder. I hope I said that in the right order, right? But when you say I feel you, that's what you're saying. That we just connected on a spiritual level. We synced on a spiritual, just out of that moment, we synced. Maybe you said something, maybe you did something, maybe I sensed something from you, but it happened. Right? So if you look at a name like Amarachi, right? People say, oh, the beauty of chi. Absolutely, it means that, but it means a little bit more. There's way, you can go way, 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 way in there and find that out. You understand? Like my own Igbo name is Duru, which is Diuru. The simple way of translating it is like a great man or a man of value, Diuru, a man of value. But if you go deep, 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 it's actually the same thing as an akajiofo, right? It means the man with the firm hand, right? And in having the firm hand, I'm the one that's able to receive. And I'm the one that's able to be the custodian of the universe, right? I'm like, I always use this example where if you hire a babysitter and you say, okay, I'm going to give here the keys, here's $20, here's yada 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 yada. It's because the babysitter is the diuru, the responsible one in the room, and because of that, you can now give them the things necessary to take care of the rest of creation. So that is my Igbo name. You know what I mean? Which I'm thinking about using more often. By the way, I always use Derek. So Paul syndrome. Do you know why our ancestors? Okay, cool. I read that one. Yeah, it means people. Ba means people. Yeah, okay, ba mba, that kind of thing. Yeah. So though I'm to believe Igbo people are not Bantu, but I have my own theory on that too. I'll just keep that to myself. Do you know? Okay, I always keep going back to that one. Why do DBS in Igbo land do Afa always tell people to go to? Yeah, Hirago. I thought Hirago only meant calling for DBS. Okay, thank you for that. So I need to do an Hirago video, I've realized. Because when I originally did mine, I did say that it's specifically for DBS. And yes, it kind of is, but everybody, I don't want to say this, I'm gonna get like a million messages that I can't facilitate, but everybody needs to do Irago, right? Irago means to accept your Agon's mission, to work with your Agon, right? So when that part of you that is reincarnating, that part of your spirit that you share with the person who is reincarnating as you, your past life self, when it's coming back into the world, remember it goes to your chi, it goes to Eke, it makes the pact, and it comes out as you. It comes out as you. It's the thing that is your Agon. So, in order for you to align and get on your path, you need to sit down with your Ago and say, all right, I'm ready to speak to you. I'm ready for you to tell me what I need to know, to show me what I need to see, to guide me to where I'm supposed to go, right? And a lot of the times, most issues, especially in the modern day, because people aren't following the ancestral way as much anymore, are your paved path on earth is this. Your paved path on earth is this. And a lot of you're doing this, right? You're doing this. So when a DBS says you need to do Irago, ritually, he is telling you to do this. Just get on your road. Put the train on the track. You understand? So in a way, everybody needs to do Irago. The reason I was saying it was more so a Debia thing or a thing for Debias is because a Debia is coming into the world as Agon. You're coming into the world to be Agon. You understand? Just like on my physical body, this is the Akka element, right? And my heart is the Obi elements, the Obi Chuku. I don't know, we're sure where my heart is at, but my heart is the Obi Chuku element, right? This is the Akka element, right? On a community level, the Debia is Agon. You're the Agon element, right? I can say maybe my brain is the Agon in my head, right? The physical, like it plays that role. And then on, again, forces in different places. So on a community level, you are Agon. So you need to do Iragon to become Agon. Not just you getting on the track means you becoming Agon. So the Iragon of a Debia is different from a person who's not supposed to be a Debia, right? The Iragon of a person who's not supposed to be Debia is you sitting down with that particular part of yourself and saying, okay, I'm ready to move forward. How are we going to do this, right? For a Debia, it's, all right, we are one. Let's go. That kind of thing. So they're different, right? Irago, Debia, now Irago, anything else are different. So whenever a Debia is telling you that, they're telling you that because traditionally you would have done Irago, you would have done Imam. They call it Imam. In fact, the better term would be Imam. You would have done Imam as a child. You would have done that as a child, infant, small child, toddler, whatever. You would have done that very, very young in a traditional setting. But people don't do that. So you now have to do it in your 30s and 20s and 40s and 50s and things like that because you didn't get on, nobody put the train on the track the way they were supposed to, right? That type of thing. So I hope that kind of answers that question. That's why DBS always say you have to do it. They're right. They're not wrong. They're 100% right. Whoa, you guys really went off. Okay. I think I'm about to wrap things up. Already knew you were coming. Okay, already knew you were coming by Sarah Nenna. Loveth. Wow, for awesome. Go check that book out. You just solved. Okay, cool. Thank you for that. Why do DBS? Okay, I get caught up again. Bantu equals people. Two word for man. Many in Bantu languages. Yeah. So it's funny too, because if you say Mbotu, you'd say a people, Mbotu, a people, Igbo, Mbotu, right? So I don't know why with my like child level Igbo I can catch these things, but then like you go to Nigeria and these people think they're so different from each other. Like it's like Somebody was talking on Instagram the other day about dialects in Igbo. Oh my God, they're so different. We can't hear each other. Yeah, somebody says abani, another person says abali, and oh my God, it's like Chinese and Dutch. They can't hear each other no more. We're not different people at all. The more I understand this, the more I see, okay, there's this is all the same thing. Bantu, Mbutu, it's all the same shit. So yeah. Small rant. Maybe that wasn't relevant for everybody. How your Wow, your Igbo name explains why you're so excellent at this Igbo spirituality. Oh, okay. Princess Kaha, thank you very much. Yeah, I'm gonna start going by Duru more. I've never been called Duru growing up. I was always called Derek. So if you say Duru in a room, I wouldn't even know you were talking to me. But I'll start using that part of my name a lot more. I think that it felt really nice talking about it, so that told me something. And follow your resonance. This is interesting how so many concepts in African languages are similar. Exactly. Yeah, it's same people. Yeah. How does but at the same time, it also comes from the fact of the source of the creation, right? Or the source of these ideas. The idea, we've been sold the concept that ideas are a single person saying this is how something should be, right? And in the contemporary world, that's kind of how it has become. But oftentimes, with the things that I'm talking about, is our ancestors giving names to something they're observing in real time, right? So somebody is not saying people should believe that there's more because it'll make the world better, right? That kind of thing. People should do this because it'll be better, but they're observing, okay, there's look at the way the sun is, look at the way I am, look at the way the earth is, look at how it has a sky, you understand, and has these clouds that float in it, that type of thing, that gravitational pull. And some people are able to see things that the average Ofeke can't see. And those people relay messages back. And we call them Dibias and Umwango and Duru and Osu and all these different names. They relay these messages back, hey, this is what I'm seeing. And so when the knowledge is when we're all describing the sky, we're going to say similar things. And that's where you get all those commonalities, right? That's where you get all those commonalities. It's not the sky should be this way or we should think of the sky this way. It's this is what I'm seeing and this is what it means, that kind of thing. Not what I think it means, what it means, period. Okay, is that what it means? Okay, show me. Okay, you can't show me, then I don't believe you anymore, right? When somebody sets up an hour sheet, and they say that this hour sheet does blank, 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 and people go there and it doesn't do that thing. People stop going. That hour sheet rots away and goes away. It loses it goes away. So the ones that people keep visiting, that thing is constantly proving itself correct. So again, observation. It's not opinion. It's observation. Until Black Ritual Ash, Dark Matter. Owambatum, I think we need to talk. Awesome. Nail Live Miz. And so thank you for that fundamental thing that builds man, Mado, and life, Udo, my perspective. Now that was brilliant. I agree with you. I'm worried because the Dibia asked you to do Irago and keep it at their place if you don't have a permanent house. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So there's no need to keep it at their place. I don't know why. You'd probably have to use your discernment and ask this person, okay, why do I need to keep it at your place? That type of thing. Use your own discernment and ask them why. But I can kind of understand that instruction because there's a lot of hostility towards our culture. So if you create this thing and let's say you're not in your own house where you can control the environment and somebody sees it, and all of a sudden now the police are being called, right? If you're at home, you know this happens. All of a sudden, so you wake up and somebody's dripping holy water on your head. Somebody maybe tries to kick it and break it apart. People start running away from you. We had this dispute in my family where one of my uncles got mad that one of my other uncles built a fence on his land or something like that. So like he just went and took a bunch of like palm leaves and tied them together and put it on his door just to kind of scare him. And nobody wanted to enter that thing that day. I think my dad had to go and remove it because it was just a bunch of twigs and stuff like that. But yeah, people have a weird mentality about these things now. So I'm gonna maybe try to do it for safekeeping. But I always say this: a DB is not a pastor. One of the issues that people are having is that they're coming out of the Christian tradition where a pastor just kind of rains information down on you. And you can ask little cute questions, but if you ask too much, you're asking the authority. A DB is a doctor. So if a doctor says, you go to a doctor, he goes, hey, take this medicine. You can ask him why, right? Okay, what does it do? What are the side effects? Why do you have to keep it in your medicine cabinet? That kind of thing. It's the same thing. So try not to think of him pastor, think of him as a doctor. That'll help more than now start asking him questions. If the person doesn't want to ask questions, you don't have to follow them. Just go to another one, that kind of thing. So yeah, I used to think there was a mind pool all humans pull from. Mr. Himself alone, you are not wrong at all. You are not wrong at all, which is how people who never had contact figure out how to do similar things. Absolutely. Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. In our group study, I haven't talked about, I'm supposed to plug the Patreon. So in our group study, somebody had shared a story. I'm trying to remember who it was, but they shared a story about, I'm trying to remember it correctly, but there was an island of like two different monkeys. And for some reason, both of the monkey groups, figured out how to use a particular tool roughly at the exact same time without contacting each other. Right. When I talk about this thing, that Akka, that big extension of you, more, and all the things that float inside of it, right? Once you begin to realize how real that thing is, you begin to realize the things we call insight, clairvoyance, ideas, inspiration, wisdom, intelligence, talents, abilities. You begin to realize how much they're not really yours. You don't own them 100%. They're not yours. They're floating in there, and they're floating in there because they're tied to that thing, that truth that you're supposed to radiate, right? They're tied to that truth somehow, some way. So it's not completely yours. You don't own it, right? And the same way it's floating in yours, it's floating in other people's, and it's all coming from a single source, right? But that single mind is Agon. That's that you're referencing. You're 100% right. That's Agon. That's Agon. Agon is the mind of Chuku. Agon is the Abara that asked Chuku that to know what Chuku knows. And Chuku said, if you want to know what I know, you must balance all of the other Abara on your head. And since Agon was able to balance all of the Abara, the number in the story is 45, I think it was 45, was able to balance all 45 Abara on its head. It's male and female. So on its head, on they, them's head, the I'm laughing because I'm going to stress people out. But because Agon was able to balance on their head, Agon then had the Etu, which is the mind of Chuku. And with Etu, that is the pool by which the universal wisdom is pulled from. Now, all of us have an Agon, which means we all have a wire connected to that single mind. Show Malik Shabazz. Even if they claim not to be Igbo, the Fulani will still kill them. Like, whoa, like Igbo, so they will be joining us when we leave Nigeria. Biafra, oh, it's Joku now. Waha. Yeah, just leave them because just leave, bro. Leave them. It's cool, man. Let's have a 5-person Biafra. I don't care. We've gone into this Ikwere of a thing. On the internet, you would think half of Igbo land was Ikwere. Ikwere is like, 2 local governments? You understand? This is Hapoha, it's fine. Etu related to Aton? That's a good question. Is Etu related to Aton? Yeah. Ross, I kind of don't know how to answer that question because what isn't related to Aton? Because Atu is the singularity that everything comes from, right? And Etu is the mind of everything. So it's the mind of that singularity, but it's also the mind of Chuku and the mind of Agon and that type of thing. So yes, it's related. Please, Derek, what is the difference between Iragon and feeding your chi or Ndiche? Cool. Iragon is sitting down with Iragon to work with Agon, right? So to work with Agon is sitting down with your Agon and saying, okay, let's begin working. Let's work together. Let's do this. Talk to me. What are we here to do? Who am I? Right? That's Iragon. Feeding your chi and your Ndiche is infusing life into your chi and fusing life into your ancestors. And as you infuse life into those things, because it is you, you infuse life back into yourself. You reinvigorate yourself. You re-empower that universal you, right? You re-empower that universal you, that type of thing. But you don't, there's nobody feeds their chi. You understand? You don't feed your chi. Nobody feeds their chi. When people say feed your chi, they're actually saying feed your chi uwa, which is your agon that we're talking about. That agon. You know, but people like sometimes people be non-specific with words, right? So there's a Celeste Inuku has a song that says Ilu Abuichi, your or no, I'm sorry, Ilo Abuichi, your the you, the returning you is not your chi, but it's called your chiwa. People say chiwa, your worldly chi. You understand? But that's the thing I'm referring to as your agon. Then you feed that thing. You infuse life into that thing. But your actual chi, you don't feed your chi. You can't comprehend your chi, so there's nothing you can feed it. You know. Is this the same? Okay, where are we at? Or the most? Malik says Ikwere chair the most distant Igbo. Ikwere, let me tell you. Let me tell you. You know, I called my ancestors in the beginning of this. If our father one of my ancestors, if our father didn't die early, I would be Ikwere. Now, that's how silly the whole thing is. If he did not die early, I would be Ikwere. Because what we're calling Ikwere was a bunch of Igbo people moving into a single space to trade at Iguacha, to trade with white people, or to participate in global capital, right? So my ancestor or father-in-law used to follow the Njaba River into the Imo River, and then he would end up at Boni, or what, the General Rivers area, and he would sell textiles, and he became very wealthy, right? He would trade textiles, and he would come back, and he'd have all these cool things that he got from the foreign world, right? He brought the I think they call it the Vodafone, that big old Vodafone thing. He was the first one to fly in a plane. He was trying to introduce all these different modern ideas to our village for progress and things like that. But unfortunately, he died young, right? He died, and a couple of years after, the war broke out, right? And some people stayed there. There are people that are already there too. But some of those people that stayed there now are, you understand? But if you go to that same place, the main masquerade they're going to dance is Oh. If you go to my place up the river, the same masquerade we're going to dance is Oh. It's the same thing, right? So it's not, there's nothing, it's ridiculously undistant. Like, so yeah, but yeah, that's a whole different topic. Like, I don't even want to get into that. I've lost a bunch of people in this too. Let's just not talk about non-Igbo stuff. I could be wrong, but probably. But okay, we're talking about some bullshit. All right, guys, it's time to go. So I appreciate you guys being here. Things like that. Anyways, yeah, I appreciate you guys for being there. As always, unu ga-adị, unu ga-eto, ihe ọbụla unu tiri aka, ọ ga-adị n'ụwa, ọ ga-adị n'eke, n'orie, n'afọ, na nkwọ, ise. Receive them. All right, cool. I'm going to post a link to the Patreon. So a really good way to support this is by sharing my videos with people that you feel would be interested. So for example, a lot of people will be like, oh, I sent my dad your video, or I sent it to a sister or a friend, that kind of thing. So that means a lot and it helps a lot. And there's a lot of people that come back to me and say, oh, somebody sent me this. So that's big. That's one of the best ways to support the channel and one of the easiest ways to support the channel. Another way you can support is by hitting the like button. So if you're in the chat right now, so 25 people have hit like and we have 28 people. So if you have not hit like so that we can get it up to 28. Based on how YouTube is, that really helps the channel. The best way to help the channel is by, I'm going to have a no talking about river state stuff rule shit, or non, like that whole general area until they figure it out. But we're going to... the best way to support the channel is by going to patreon.com/the medicine shell. Patrons have access to my in-house library, so it is as I'm learning and I'm researching things, that I'm constantly adding new things that I find, new documents and so forth. One of the recent favorites I just added was this book. I think it was written in the 1930s by a man who was clearly seeing that the culture was being eroded by the colonial presence and said, okay, I need to start recording things down. So he wrote down this really interesting account of everything. And in it, he has the ancestral account of race, which was really like, I was just like, it was really cool. But it tells the story of how our ancestors conceptualized how the races of the world came to be, right? And so that was one of the one of the recent favorites. It's a book, and I added it on there recently. But I'm constantly adding things. So there's hundreds of like articles and studies and different things from Nzes and Dibias and so forth, all kind of categorized by or split up into their different categories and so forth. Now, one of the things that accompany this library is we have an Odinani group study. So sometimes I'll take a document from there, or sometimes I'll have a random thought and say, hey, we need to just talk about this particular topic. And we get together. It's like every other week, and it's on Zoom. So instead of me just talking and reading comments, we're all sharing different experiences and things. Like, it's phenomenal. So that's another thing that is available for patrons. Then, of course, the patrons can watch the previous videos of those. So you get exclusive videos as well on the Patreon. And then you also have access to the 13 moon calendar. So 13 moons for market day calendar. For the people who are already patrons right now, first and foremost, for the people who are patrons right now, I've upgraded the calendar. The reason it was taking so long was because there is a leap moon, and I was trying to figure out what years had the leap moon, which was Onwa Uzo Arashi, or Uzo Alusi, based on where you're from. And so I was trying to figure out which years had it, and I finally figured that out, which is actually like, it's a big internal victory for me, because we're getting closer. I'm getting closer to trying to figure out how we can accurately trace people's market days back. And that's one of the things that you need to incorporate is the leap moon, the 13th moon, that kind of thing. So once that got fixed, so if you go to your calendar now, it has all the moons for the next 2 years, and it has all of the market days and everything like that. All of that is available to patrons at patreon.com/the medicine shell. Thank you for the stream, Odogu. Hey, thank you very much. Thank you for coming. Cool. So all that is available for patrons at patreon.com/the medicine shell. Also, if you are a patron, the next group study we're going to have this weekend on Sunday is going to be on the medicinal power of the sun. The medicinal power of the sun. And I'm going to go like, this thing here is just kind of, yeah, I'm going in. So as you guys know, so we're going to be talking about the sun as medicine, as in, see, Mwa Biafra. Hey, Mwa Biafra. Igade, Igeto, Kobla Itiri Akka, Oge, Ogade Nowa, Ogade Nahoneke, Norie, Nafo, Nankwo. He said, thank you very much for the donation, brother. Thank you. Nah, ihe made them. Thank you. No one there. Spirituality is central to our culture. And as our younger generations continue to wake up, which I'm so grateful that they are. My God, I'm so grateful that they are. I think it was my brother-in-law said that in the past, when Facebook was new, if you post something about Odinani Ndibo, everybody would start coming with their the blood of Jesus, the blood of Jesus, the blood of Jesus, that kind of thing. But now, if you post it, everybody will be supporting, and then one Onyakbere will now come and say, but you must have Jesus in your life. And then everybody will attack that person. You're a fool. You're an idiot. So things are changing. And it's a wonderful thing. And I'm glad to see it. And you guys are all a big part of that. So whatever G for everything you guys are doing. There's authors in here and artists and people who just share different things and teach and things like that. So it's not just me, because Atu is how path of a thing. Atu is advice, instruction thing. Cool. Cool. All right, guys. Okay. Let me take off. So yeah, join us on Patreon at patreon.com/the medicine show. You will not be disappointed. I really love the Patreon community that we have. Again, support the channel by sharing the videos. And then if you're ever interested in one-to-ones, I do one-to-ones at People Talk /the medicine shell. People peopletalk.com/the medicine shell. I started doing that because I would talk to people before they would go to, and Nigerians love the blast because they're vampires. I used to, anyways, yeah. So go to People Talk and schedule a one-to-one if there's something maybe personal and you're looking to see the ancestral perspective on it. I've been applying the blessing that I have to have the knowledge that I have in more practical ways for helping people and so forth, right? But I haven't done Urakel, so I can't call myself a Dibia. But so far so good with the one-to-ones and things like that. So yeah, if you're interested, if there's anything maybe you think, or you're feeling something's going on and you want to sit down and talk and that kind of thing, I'm here. So that's that. And all these things support the channel, so it's awesome. What time on Sunday? 10 a.m. Central Time for patrons. This is premium and is it patrons, and it'll show up on your calendar. I had 2 people join in the like over the last 24 hours, and I haven't linked up your calendar yet. So once this shuts off, I'm going to link your calendar if you're that person that just joined and send you the link for everything. Otherwise, check your Google Calendar. It's there. All right. No gadi. Where kwaji? Yeah, guys. Take care.